Digital self-management, the future of work. So the future is decentralized. If we think about traditional business structures, sort of a triangle, it's usually because the person at the top has the most amount of knowledge and the most amount of asymmetric sort of knowledge of where the business is going. But with human and AI collaboration, that knowledge can be given out to all people. And what it allows for is a different way for organizations to operate. It allows for participatory budgeting. It allows for staff on demand. It allows for people to customize their own career paths. But the organization does really need to emphasize learning and development. And it needs to rethink how it maintains or how it develops its culture. So what are the benefits of sort of an autonomous organization where the AI is helping with decision making or approvals, and we don't need to be in a whole lot of meetings? So it allows for increased agility. It allows for direct accountability, increases the speed of learning, there's better morale, has better accessibility to expertise, and with everyone inputting their information, it allows for sort of this hive mind or this collective intelligence for an organization. If you think about staff, all they really want is to have the freedom to do their role and to know what the rules of the game are and how they're going to be judged and how they can add an impact. The challenges for an autonomous organization is trust. There's the example of one person in 100-person organization makes an error. So business rushes out a new policy where approvals are required, where it clogs up the organization's ability to sort of to move forward and be agile. There's risk of duplication. So if everyone doesn't dictate what people are working on, unless you've got the infrastructure and the back end to know what people are working on, there is a risk that people are doing the same roles or the same tasks. There are governance challenges as organizations aren't used to this way of operating. And there can be ambiguity in strict job responsibilities. Also, the management in a bossless workplace. If you're judged strictly on your output, sometimes that can be quite frightening or difficult for people to understand. And there's limited traditional promotion opportunities. The requirements for an organization to be able to adopt this framework is they need dashboards. They need dashboards to know what people are working on, what the constraint of the business is, where the value lies, and how people can work on those sort of challenges. There is a different type of person that we need to hire. The culture is very dynamic and needs to be able to be measured, and leadership and governance need to be able to respond to any issues that arise pretty quickly. It allows for a different type of engagement and different types of leaders. No longer is it the authoritarian, you do this or else. It's more the, how can I remove roadblocks for you to achieve your goals? And a really good example is actually the ING group, a Dutch banking group that made everyone redundant and then asked for everyone to reapply for their positions so they could be a lot more agile organization. And they organized themselves into tribes and squads. And these small teams, no more than 9 people, allow them to achieve tasks or to increase the ability of the organization a lot faster. And these teams were multidisciplinary. They weren't just all, say, marketing. They had a representation of each, so that when these squads or these tribes were making a decision, they had context of how it's going to impact all of the organization, not just their little vertical. And their cycle time from when they're making improvements or releases went from 2 months to 2 weeks. If you think about that, they were able to improve their business at a significantly faster rate, leading for better customer experience and better financial performance. It's based on the problems they solve and not how many people they managed. The more effective a team, the more work that team did in improving the business, the more they were rewarded. So it's a meritocracy. And they were managed by dashboards for the problem sets. So the tribe leaders or the squad leaders could pick from a dashboard what the pressing issues were that was given down from an AI, from a prescriptive analytics, and they could select a task that their group was going to work on and improve in that 2-week cycle. That decreased the chance of duplication of teams working on the same problem set. And their response or their evaluation from this process was that culture was the hardest thing to overcome. From a top-down structure of you're told what to do to identifying problem areas and trying to solve those at a very, very quick amount of time. They also went to collaborative hiring. So as opposed to an HR department, those tribes or those teams would sit in on the interviews and help choose who's the member that's going to complement them. They had very, very few meetings, which means they're actually moving the business forward and not all just marking time in a meeting. They could also dictate how they were being measured. So if they chose a problem set, they would choose the KPIs or OKRs that they were going to be measured against and then worked to deliver on those. And it significantly increased customer and employee engagement and retention. By operating in a new way, it was actually a competitive advantage for ING to recruit talent. What we do is help educate your staff, your teams, help implement a strategy fit for you, and allow you to be competitive in this fourth industrial revolution.